go ahead and get us started this morning. Good morning. Dan is with, I had a chance to share a little bit with the group, but Dan is with the Paradise Recreation and Park District. And our co-chair, Danny Cortola, had a chance to meet you at conference last year and was just really taken by your experience. And was hoping and was looking forward to you sharing with our group today. So we have folks that are still kind of streaming in, but I've hit the record button. So without further ado, Dan, we'd love to toss it over to you.
Well, thank you very much. I very much appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys today. And, you know, I think one of the things that is, by the way, if I could have the screen, that would be great.
Oh, absolutely.
Screen share, please. Yeah, thank you. You know, every time I've thought about this, taking a moment to pause and think about things, it evolves somewhat. And, you know, it certainly is evolving today. You know, I think there's a lot of things that are, I would say, COVID analogous. And all of us are going through some things right now with new challenges. And I just wanted to cover some things about our experience. And certainly wildfire is no stranger to any part of our region or state, especially the last few years. So we've been hit as challenging as you can imagine. And so what I wanted to do is kind of give you some perspective on it and just walk through a few things. By the way, how much time do I have? I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
We have our next session will begin at 10 o'clock, so 19 minutes.
Okay. Wave when I'm getting close.
I will wave and I'll send you a message as well.
So, you know, one thing that this is a bumper sticker you guys have probably seen. Everyone can see my screen, I hope. Good. You know, and just, you don't know what's around the corner, and hopefully it's not a nuclear bomb, but to the town of Paradise and surrounding communities, November 2018 was our nuclear bomb. And so the footprint of our district is essentially the footprint of the Camp Fire. And to give you some perspective, you know, blue is our boundaries. We're 172 square miles. And the Camp Fire occupies a larger area. However, the area that it burned outside of our district don't contain as many homes. There's grazing land, it's forested land. So we by far took the greatest hit on it. For perspective, to give you a sense of this is the same size an area as it would be from Old Town Sacramento all the way to Lake Folsom. So give you that kind of perspective and everything, you know, in between. So it's really a devastating large area, and then just the number of people impacted. So our district has about 50,000 people, had 50,000 people. Imagine a 2 to 4 hour window where 30,000 people are suddenly homeless. From a planning standpoint, they did quite a bit on evacuations. That wasn't an issue. People were well prepared. People had go bags and had escape routes, but it was so fast that it kind of outstripped the ability for roads to handle it. And, you know, undoubtedly you guys have seen the footage. Instead of rehashing all of that, which I could, is to go through kind of the problem solving side of it. And one of the things that really struck me is this idea of, you know, parks make life better, the logo and very familiar campaign that we're familiar with, but also the idea that parks can save lives. And I think as a former city employee, I was on the dark side, as some of you may have been, that your priorities are different when you're working for those districts. It always seems like parks and recreation drops to the bottom of the list, or it's the top of the list when it's time for budget cuts. And so I think post-catastrophe, whether it's a fire or whether it's COVID, parks become really important and essential to people's lives. And I'm going to go through some things on some physical things that we are doing in our district to make life better and make and save people's lives. But also there's a programming component that's really important as well. So if you woke up on November of 2018, 6:30 a.m., get ready for work, sure, parks make life better. By 10:45, with the fast-moving fire, you're thinking parks can save your life. And by that, I mean quite literally. Some of our residents knew that their evacuation routes were blocked. They could see the flames, dark as night, even though it was 10 in the morning. And they could see the flames and glows in both directions on their way out. So instead of trying to fight their way through it, a bunch of residents went back into some of our parks because they knew there were green spaces. There was infrastructure there that could protect them. And this little pavilion area is one of those. We had, this is hard to imagine, that about 120 people congregated under this pavilion from about 10 in the morning to about 2 in the afternoon, when a CAL FIRE vehicle came out and plowed a way out for them to go there. There's 60 to 80 cars in our parking lot. Wasn't designed for 60 to 80 cars. So they had actually kind of broke into and created a little barricade with some tables that we had for events in there. It saved their lives, quite literally, because in the surrounding neighborhood, this is a view I hope you guys can see. On the left is the pavilion. This is 2 days after the fire. Is the pavilion. You can see it looks like a foggy day. It's just very smoky and still a lot of debris and ash falling in the surroundings. A 120-degree view is where my colleagues are standing here on the hillside. There were 2 homes. You could see some of the ash up on the hillside there of where 2 homes were standing. So that is such a, I had a presence of mind, I would take a panorama picture of it, because you can quite literally see the path where it's green and then it's black. And so this is an unplanned choice for people, but it quite literally saved their lives day of the fire. I think it's changed a few things for us, thinking about that idea of, look, a park where people are enjoying themselves for 40,000 days, and then that one day that you're thinking of where do I stay to as a safer evacuation zone, has changed our perspective on a number of things. So I'll go from kind of small to big, but these are have been very consequential for our area. The town of Paradise had sponsored a planning session, which you can imagine, typically planning sessions, you have a few outspoken characters, and these had input from thousands of people. This is thousands of people that were displaced. So they were providing input on polls and showing up at meetings. And so it was kind of a remarkable document just to have this completed. But some of the things came up out of this on what do we need to do for the long term for us to survive and thrive. And a few things rose to the top, which pre-fire, I think people would have parks down as important, but maybe not in their top 3. Post-fire, it vaulted up to the top. And I think COVID has shown us how important parks and open space have been for, our sanity. And I see some nodding heads there. So I know for me, that's been an important connection to have that be out with my family in nature. So I think that this report demonstrates some of that. We need more open spaces, parks, and event spaces. One idea that we've been promoting is this idea of PRPD, our district, becoming a outdoor destination. So have amenities and features that are great for our citizens, but also are providing an interest for people outside of the area, which may generate economic income, investment, and kind of change our fortunes up here. We're an impoverished district with a lot of challenges, and so having a shift towards a rec and tech economy may help us in the long term on multiple ways. I'll mention this later on, but there's a town of Paradise, as a colleague of mine notes, is you could not design a better town to kill people because the roads are dead ends. There's long connections or connections that are almost within sight of that next road, but there's a fence, there's some feature there, there's a swimming pool. there's something that blocks you from getting out. So one is none. And so if that one way out is blocked, you're in trouble. So we need to look at connections. Park could provide a solution to that by purchasing up some of those areas and connecting it. And I'll mention something about an interconnected trail system later on too. Preaching to the choir, but we know that investments in parks are important for a lot of reasons, for the economic activity and quality of life. So I'm not going to spend much time on that. We have a small number of properties, but they're very important to the community. And what we have is that's developed anyway is well loved and beautiful. You know, we have nice facilities. We also manage a large number of undeveloped land. So we have forest land. We have areas that we've run in the past, fuels reductions projects, which some of those were actually very instrumental in the campfire in reducing some of the fire risk. They just didn't carry well through those areas. So even though that was a very modest effort, that was quite clear that little bit of effort was totally important for our protecting the footprint of the district. Part of the shift here is looking at our amenities that are existing. So we're looking at Paradise Lake, which was managed by Paradise Irrigation District. Now we've approached them. We were successful this year on taking over the recreation opportunities. This lake is beautiful. It's a little jewel. It's a drinking water lake. It has some of the cleanest water in the state from a municipal water source, surface water. And we're going to make this a destination. It's already one, but it's a secret. So one thing that's helping us with some of that revenue is carrying on the irrigation district's parking pass program. And so that's going to help us subsidize and make improvements on the property. Another concept is we had parks that were utilized during the fire, but we need to pepper the community with parks. There's also the health benefits. If people have a park within 10 minutes of their home, they're going to use it. They're going to be healthier just by the nature of living near a park, which seems extraordinary to me. So, you know, we should be capitalizing on this, not only from a fire standpoint, but just improving people's lives and longevity and sanity. So this has prompted a bunch of planning efforts for us. One is getting input from the community on their dream parks. And so, you know, it's always interesting. I don't know how it is for you guys, but adults versus children on the input is interesting. I spent about an hour talking about parking at a meeting with adults, and I couldn't get out of them what will people be here parking for, whereas the kids have great ideas. They had a ninja warrior course, a zip line, skate parks. Inspiring for me, thinking about what they could be there. So we're trying to meld these together into some features for the community. We're looking at some undeveloped areas within our existing parks. This is a plan that shows a mountain bike flow course that has some climbing features, a little adventure area, a quiet area for people to contemplate. But it takes an area that was typically used for us for waste and leaves into something that can be a real local destination for us. Same with some other features. This barn-like structure here was a pre-fire design. We're going to orient it to where it can block embers from a fire better, and have some amenities in there that make it viable as a community farmers market. So kind of get some food security issues addressed. So all these are kind of layered up on our thinking right now. This is a park in Magalia, which doesn't have a developed park right now. About 15,000 people without a playground or park to utilize. So we're taking this property. We're going to create a demonstration forest in this lower area. It's a steep slope. And then as it comes on top, we're going to open it up to playgrounds and features that can be defensible during a fire. And our idea, excuse me, is taking some of these FEMA type approaches, a gravel parking lot for evacuation. That's what they want. But you can have that if that's built into a feature of a park. So that area that could still host 80 cars in there, 120 people, you could have it as a playfield, the other times of the year and so forth. So we're looking at multiple amenities. How do we get that into the community? So we're exploring these things pretty deeply. I'm going to jump over a little bit to another thing that we're working on, trails. So from a trail standpoint, that was one of the most important things in our area. But what we're looking at now is how does that trail help with not only connection and linking, but also to get us evacuation routes out. So we're looking at this regional trail idea. And so the idea of this would be a 15 to 20 mile loop on a natural surface. There's 6 different public entities that are here. So we're trying to create a unique partnership, but utilize what's there, roads and some existing trails just not marked. Some areas are closed to the public right now. So this trail system will allow us to not only have this very unique heart of a trail system for Butte County, but also provide some of these amenities for accessing fires, giving evacuation routes and so forth. So it kind of makes us a more fire resilient community. So some of I mentioned just briefly the idea of connecting dead end roads. They can be through future parks. One thing that we're looking at as a community is undergrounding the utilities, which created the telephone poles, create a huge hazard, not from initiating the fire, but when they burn, they block roadways. So all of that's going underground. That's the attempt. What we're looking at is those places where they've dropped in underground, why not make that a trail? And so that will keep the vegetation down on that area. It also gives these obvious connections that throughout the community that can be connected to schools and roads. And a community that doesn't have many sidewalks, that will be very important for us. There's this concept of defensible space, and I'm aware of the time, by the way, so I want to be respectful of that. We know that is important for communities and homes, but what we're looking at is how to make defensible space around the entire community. So we're doing some really very exciting, innovative work with our partners to look at our landscape and see if there's areas where you can transform steep hillsides, steep slopes, upwind from a fire event, and maybe create a system, a green belt system that provides not only that protection and unique recreational opportunities, but gives us that kind of assurance that we're doing something about it. Now, it's not just a pie in the sky idea. We've had some partners that are looking at it from an insurance standpoint, from a life standpoint. Building codes only get you a little bit. So a building code, all homes that were damaged return to new building code standards would save about 10%, they estimate on average. Doing this buffer creates a savings in lives and property of 35% on an annual basis. That's premium. So that's the potential for income for this project. And we're trying to explore how to monetize hopefully the generosity of insurance companies if we're saving lives and property. So we're looking at this a very innovative way, and I'll go through this super quickly. But one of the ideas is looking at scenarios. So this the scenario on to the right, this is kind of a pre-fire one on the left. On the right has a buffer set up on it and a quote unquote 20% effectiveness, but it still has a much less ignition source and gives us time. So ability for firefighters to create a time to respond to a fire, which is important from an evacuation standpoint and the firefight. I'm going to go through this stuff pretty quickly just because I want to get to one more thing, the idea of resiliency in communities and programs. We can't just talk about the physical, we have to talk about lives. I don't know if you guys have seen this picture before, a sand garden, which I didn't know what it was till fairly recently. But the idea is that kids needed to be outdoors. They needed connection with nature. This was a orphanage. And you can see they've grown thick in there, that sand, they pack them in. But we're kind of doing the same thing with our community. We're trying to get that recreation component. One of the first things we did post-fire, 1 month after the fire, we opened up an ice rink. Our staff had an extraordinary effort to get that done. We had over 2,000 or 3,000 people show up for the very heartwarming connections there. And I know that I'm looking at time, so I want to check in with you and see if I can go a little bit further.
So I would love to hear more about this going further, but we do have sessions that do start at 10
I
a.m.
understand.
So I apologize for that. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. The way that you've shared the partnerships and the goals of going through and creating those partnerships for not just recreation, but also for safety is something that has really opened our eyes to this today. And I really appreciate you being able to share your experience with Paradise. If you're interested, Dan, I'd love to be able to offer and to share your presentation with the group. So I've recorded us for today. If you want to send your PowerPoint, or you and I can also meet and do a podcast that kind of expands on the information you're sharing as well, if you're interested.
That sounds great. I appreciate everybody's time. Have a great conference. And I hope that something spoke to you. If it does, please give me feedback. And, I'd love to share with you some of the other things that we're doing, programs, and hear your ideas too, because partnerships are really important. So thank you for your time today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Dan, I'll set up a separate time for you and I, but thank you so much for joining in.
You're welcome.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Michelle, do you need the screen? Okay, I'm going to make you co-host.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I am going to stay on with you. Corey, I just sent you a message. If you're able to, I know you're probably attending this session, but we sent you an email about the Red Room.
I'll head over there right now.
Thank you so much.
Oops. All right, Tam, can you tell me can you see the screen?
You can see your screen.
And you can hear me okay?
I can hear you beautifully.
All right.
I will go ahead and introduce you if you are comfortable with that. We're recording and rolling.
I was going to ask you if you want to do that. Go for it. Yep.
I'm happy to do so. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. Welcome to the CARE conference and to the Yellow Room. We are here today with Michelle Croce, and it is a pleasure to introduce her. She is the Assistant Director of Recreation for the City of Pleasanton. She will be presenting today on being thankful for challenges, the benefits of gratitude. We want to remind everyone that you do need to be present for CEUs to count, and I'll be doing a screenshot about midway through and then submitting a CEU survey at the end as well, so that I'll be sharing those links. But without further ado, take it away, Michelle.
Thank you, Tamara. I am very happy you all are here today. I am going to share with you exactly what it says, how to be thankful during challenging times, and discuss some of the benefits of gratitude with you. First and foremost, I want to tell you about something that you may hear in the background as I present that I am actually thankful for. It's creating a little bit of anxiety for me, but I'm thankful for it. My roof in my house is getting done, which is great. I'm thankful for it because it's raining. It rained yesterday, it rained a little bit today. Thankful it's being done, but you may hear some banging. So I'm sorry about that. I've got some videos to play for you. I've got hopefully some new information for you all. And the other good news is that it's probably only going to go about 45 minutes. So to get started, we're going to talk about what gratitude means and what it means to be thankful. I'm going to show you some research on gratitude and the health benefits that come from being thankful and sharing gratitude. And then I'm going to share with you 40 ways you can practice gratitude every day. So the dictionary definition of gratitude says that it's the quality of being thankful. That for me didn't feel like enough. I needed to get a little bit more. So I dug a little bit deeper, and I found it's the positive emotion felt after being the beneficiary of some sort of gift. I honestly, until about 2015, had no idea that saying thank you was a gift. And I was not equating the emotions that were coming with the thank you and receiving the thank you. Let me tell you what happened in 2015 to me. I went to a training. It was called CPO. I don't know if anybody in the call has been to CPO. It's unfortunately not happening anymore, but it was continuing education for public officials. It was down at a property called La Casa de Maria Center in Santa Barbara. Each year, my city sent one person because it wasn't exactly a cheap conference. But we had our chief of police, our former chief of police, who used to be a presenter at this conference. And he really shared with the leadership at our city the importance of sending people. It was not your average conference by any means. It was an immersive experience. You can see this bottom picture of the sleeping quarters. I went for the first time from our city in a couple of years. So even though it was a 3-year program, I was there by myself, didn't know anyone. And I was paired with 2 other people to sleep in that room, one tiny little twin bed with 2 ladies that I had never met before. And we shared a bathroom. Talk about getting to know someone on very intimate experiences for 1 week. It was uncomfortable. I have a brother. I had my own room my whole life. And to be thrown into a situation like this was unique. We had limited cell service. You were meant to be completely immersed in the program. They didn't want you doing any other work. All of your meals were communal in a set schedule. You could not leave the property. You can see the property over here in this top left-hand picture. It was a beautiful property. We could walk around and be immersed in it, but you couldn't leave. This was intended to break down our barriers, make us feel a little uncomfortable, and learn everything we could about ourselves. The sessions were handpicked for you. The schedule was developed just for you. And so it was different. One session, I had to sit facing someone that I had just met that day. Our knees had to touch, and we had to maintain eye contact the entire time. That's really close proximity. You had to share an experience that you hadn't shared with anybody else. The other person had to sit and listen and maintain eye contact the entire time. And then at the end, they had to give you some sort of feedback. A thank you for experiencing that. Some sort of, if you asked a question or you had a dilemma, they had to try and provide something back to you. It was really uncomfortable to share something that you had never shared before, touching someone else and maintaining eye contact the entire time. So by the 4th day, you can say that I was vulnerable, I was raw, I was exposed, I was frustrated, I felt alone, I was ready to go home. And on the last day, I went into one of my last sessions, and we were told we were going to learn about the benefits of gratitude. As we walked in the door, we were told to sit quietly, not speak. I thought, oh, here we go again. Something that's going to really make me uncomfortable. And as the lights dimmed, there was a screen in the front of the room. And on the screen came a bunch of people I had never met before. But there was a woman near the front of the room who let out an audible gasp and started to cry and got really happy. And this flood of emotions started to pour out of her. And what was happening on the screen was, while we were at this conference for a week, unbeknownst to us, the conference was contacting our coworkers and asking our bosses and our coworkers to make gratitude videos for us. So this woman was the first of many gratitude videos that we were experiencing. It was her boss and her coworkers saying all these amazing things about her, telling her thank you for being a great coworker, telling her thank you for going to this conference and learning things that they knew she was going to be able to come back with and bestow upon them and just be a better person and bring things back to the organization that maybe they hadn't had before. And through the session, we watched these movies, and even though it wasn't your movie, you were experiencing the same emotions and feelings that they were experiencing. And then it got to me. And on the screen, you can see that little heads up icon. I, at the time, I still work with some really amazing people, but I work with, at the time, I was directly overseeing two people that were into the arts and loved this game Heads Up. And so my video was actually a little movie of them playing the game Heads Up. And all the words were positive adjectives, funny, caring, and one of them was guessing and going Bobby, and they were like no, and they were going Susie, and they were going no, and then they were going Michelle, like yes, you got it. And by the end, I was crying. I was slobbering, just nasty emotions were coming out of me. I was experiencing gratitude like I had never experienced it before. Did you know that gratitude shields you from negativity? It makes you at least 25% happier. It rewires your brain. It eliminates stress. It heals. It improves sleep. It boosts self-esteem and performance. And it improves relationships. Got this little video. Hopefully I've done it right and you will be able to hear everything with some more information about benefits of gratitude.
Your birthday? I do? Nope. Today, we're going to talk about saying thank you. Did you know expressing gratitude is scientifically proven to make you happier? Here's the deal. Humans operate on what's called a hedonic treadmill. It means we generally stabilize at one level of happiness. Going to a party or going to the beach might perk you up for a minute, but generally your level of happiness stays constant, whether you spend a day at the park or at the doctor. Basically, we take the things that make us happy for granted, so they stop psyching us up. By practicing gratitude and constantly examining what you're thankful for and why, you stop ignoring what makes you happy. Essentially, being actively grateful will make you a happier person. But don't take my word for it. Dr. Robert Emmons, a psych professor at UC Davis and author of Thanks, The New Science of Gratitude Can Make You Happier, has been doing experiments on gratitude for more than a decade. For example, Dr. Emmons gave 300 people journals and divided these people into 3 groups. One group had to write daily lists of things that they were grateful for. Another group had to write daily lists of things that annoyed them. And the last group, well, they could write about whatever popped in and out of their minds. Batman, strawberries, whatever. Emmons found that people who wrote about things that they were grateful for had a much higher level of well-being than the other 2 groups. Not only that, they slept better and exercised more. Group A's simple act of writing down what they were thankful for seemed to kickstart their brains. So, it's time to kickstart your brain with today's wellness exercise. Take out your Wellcast journal. Crack it open to a clean page and write things I am grateful for at the top. If you're the kind of person that likes to be micromanaged, draw 3 columns and label people, places, and things. Take 5 minutes each night this week and add things to those columns. At the end of the week, take a look at the list. It's pretty long, huh? It's time for phase 2. Time to express a little gratitude out loud to others. Look, we're not saying you have to be one of those people who thanks trees for oxygen. I mean, you can, but just go down your list. Pick one of the things you wrote down and think about who gave it to you. Actually expressing gratitude will help you get off that hedonic treadmill and make you feel better about all the little things. Draft a letter to this person. It's okay. You can explain to them that a YouTube video is telling you to do this. But then get serious. Tell the person what you're so grateful for and why, and then thank them sincerely for it. If you're feeling adventurous, ask them out to dinner, and then you can thank them in person. After you send the letter or return from dinner, take out that Wellcast journal one last time. Open it up to a clean page and write down how you feel now, in detail. Are you like one of the folks in Dr. Emmons' study and feeling pretty awesome? Let us know how your gratitude experiment went.
All right, let me get back to the PowerPoint. All right. Now somehow I lost all my notes. Sorry about that. Give me one more sec here. Huh. Can you all still see my screen okay? Tam, I can't see you guys. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can see your screen okay. There was a question if the URL for the video could be shared.
Oh, yes. I will do that at the end if that's okay. I'll put up all the URLs. I'll share the PowerPoint with Tamara. I'll make this all totally available. There's one more video at the end.
We'll move everything into the Google Drive, including this as a recording.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So there are tremendous benefits of gratitude. I shared just a few with you. This one I'm going to go into just a little more in depth. The practice of gratitude is not only good for your mind, but it's good for your body. It's good for your spirit and everyday living. By practicing gratitude, you are less self-centered, materialistic. You have less insecurities. It boosts your vitality. It boosts your energy. It boosts your immune system. It reduces your negative thought patterns, your toxic emotions, your jealousy, your anger, your envy, your comparing, and your feelings of victimization. When somebody tells me they're thankful for something that I did, I have a new understanding of things that they like, of things that I did that worked for them. I don't need to be angry at them anymore. I don't need to have negative feelings because now we've built trust. We've created a relationship at a deeper level where I'm now understanding what they like that I do and what I can do for them next time. And it starts to relieve some of those negative feelings that I may have had in that relationship. It increases my motivation to exercise, my overall personal well-being, my impulse control, and your productivity. I am not on a product advertisement at all here, but I have a Peloton. I'm an avid Peloton rider. And literally yesterday, I got an email from them and I was so excited because they are having a gratitude week next week, where they will have rides and exercises that are focused on giving thanks and being thankful for that exercise element and for taking care of yourself and looking out for yourself. And they understand these health benefits. It builds self-confidence. It makes you more resilient. It lowers your blood pressure. Again, probably because you're exercising more as well, but it also helps and lowers your stress hormone cortisol. It brings more joy, more happiness, more generosity, optimism, positivity, and compassion. Again, when someone tells me thank you for something I did, when they're grateful for something I did, I'm happy. That is increasing all of these good, positive feelings inside me. It improves workplace relationships. Again, when I'm working with a coworker and they've thanked me for something, I want to do more for them next time because I know they appreciated it. It improves sleep patterns. I don't know about you, but I go to bed at night sometimes and I lie down and I start to think about all the stuff I got to do tomorrow, right? And if I think about all the good things I did and knowing tomorrow that people are going to be appreciative for the other things that I'm going to do, it's going to help me relax. It's going to help me calm down. It's going to improve my sleep. It's better for my health heart. It's better for my decision making. It's better for my coping skills. Again, it releases that anxiety that I may be having. If I don't know how you're going to feel about what I'm going to do, it makes me anxious. But if I know you're going to be thankful for it, or you're going to thank me for it at the end, it's going to make me feel better. It's going to give me all these positive feelings. And then last but not least, it's going to nurture my self-esteem, my self-acceptance, and my self-love. Saying thank you, I've touched on it a little bit, is also good for business. It's good for your coworkers and your staff. You should be saying thank you and building that strong sense of self-worth and confidence. And it has that ripple effect. It leads to increasing in trust between colleagues and more initiative to help each other out. As I mentioned, if I know that you like what I'm doing, I'm going to do it more. If you know that I like what you're doing, you're going to do it more. But be careful here. Certain people respond to gratitude different ways. They respond to different levels of gratitude. Some people are perfectly comfortable with a thank you. Some people need a little bit more. Some people prefer some sort of physical gift. If you just say thank you, it feels like you didn't really care. But if I give you something to show that thank you, then I know that you mean it. Some people don't want either of those things. Some people want to just very quietly, pass me a note, send me an email. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. It's important to know when you're bestowing thank yous and gratitude on your staff to know what level works for them. When I first got into recreation, I worked for a city where I had to do some summer concert series, large attendance, all of that. There was a lot of work behind the scenes. A lot of you know what it takes to put on a summer concert. After every concert, my supervisor would pull me up on the stage with the entire crowd there and hand me a bouquet of flowers to thank me for all the work I did. I got 6 bouquets of flowers by the end of the concert series. It was great. I love flowers, but it was too much for me. I don't need that public thank you. Had she just pulled me off to the side at the end and said, you did a great job, that would have worked. That would have been enough. It's important to figure out what level of thank you and gratitude works because you don't want it to have a negative effect. Saying thank you is also good for your customers. When your customers feel that you're grateful to them, they're more likely to buy. They're more likely to recommend you to others. They're more likely to forgive your mistakes. If you have proven to them that you appreciate their business, again, either with the solid thank you at the counter with the interaction, an email follow-up for their registration online, social media blasts thanking them, that next time you put the wrong time on your registration receipt, they're going to remember that you provide great customer service and that you have been thankful for their business. And they're more willing to forgive you because we're human. We're going to make mistakes, unfortunately. But if you keep that positive gratitude flowing, it's going to keep them coming back. Now be careful. There are some negatives to gratitude. Most importantly, the negatives come in when you downplay that gratitude. It's most common, and you may not even realize that this is having this effect. It's most common when somebody pays you a compliment and then you downplay that compliment. Here's an example. Somebody walks up and says, wow, I love your shoes. They're so pretty. And you say, oh, these old things? Oh yeah, I've had these for years. Thank you though. Thank you though. Thank you for liking my old shoes. How does that make you feel? I don't know how I feel about that. I tried to tell you that I like something and you just kind of told me that I liked your old stuff. And maybe next time I'm not gonna give you that thank you. Maybe next time I'm not going to mention when I like something because you're going to downplay it. You're going to negate it. It didn't give me a very good feeling the way gratitude is supposed to. And so I may stay away from that next time. So here's the trick. And this is hard. It's uncomfortable. It's not what our culture has gotten used to. Next time somebody walks up and says, wow, I love your shoes, say, thank you. That's it. Practice it. It's hard because we're so used to saying something else. We're so used to downplaying it, to negating it, because we're uncomfortable with receiving the gratitude. So we're turning it back on them. Practice just saying thank you. If you get one thing from this session walking away later today, somebody gives you a compliment later in the day, thank you. And that's it. Now, challenging times. I don't think we've been in a more challenging time. Well, I certainly have it. I'm in my 45 plus years of life. This is the most challenging time I've ever been in. The epidemic, the fires, the financial situations that we are now in. It's really difficult to find things to be grateful for during this time. However, it's the most important time to find gratitude. Last year, I was planning with my family to go on a Disney cruise. First cruise ever in my life. I'm a pretty big Disney fan. My son's a Disney fan. My husband, not so much a Disney fan. So this was miraculous that we were going to get to go on a Disney cruise. First time in my life. First time to Florida. First time to Disney World. First time on a cruise. First time to the Bahamas. I was looking forward to it, clearly. A little nervous about my motion sickness, but I was looking forward to it. And then, of course, March came, and we had to make a decision about our cruise. It didn't make sense. We didn't feel safe. We canceled it. I was bummed. So then I thought, because like everybody else, well, we don't know quite what's happening with this epidemic. Maybe instead we can still salvage a vacation. Maybe instead we could go to Maui. Well, the epidemic continued, the pandemic continued, things got worse. And we said, okay, we didn't even try and book a trip. We're not even gonna try and get to Maui. Had we gone to Maui, we would have been there on this day. I've never experienced a hurricane. Don't want to experience a hurricane. 90-mile-an-hour winds do not sound fun. So needless to say, through this pandemic so far, I was really bummed that I didn't get to go on a cruise, but I'm grateful that I didn't go on the cruise. Would have been canceled anyway. I'm grateful I didn't go. I'm grateful I didn't go to Maui because I would have been in this hurricane. But even more so, I'm grateful. Sorry, because I got to stay home and see this beautiful person. Had I been on the cruise, had I been in Maui, I would not have been here when the matriarch of our family passed away. That's my grandma. She was 100 years old. I'm sorry, I didn't think I was going to cry. I've been practicing. It's all been perfect. She was 100 years old. And as you know, we couldn't really see people. I hadn't seen her in months. But at her funeral, we were allowed 10 people. I was able to go. I was able to say goodbye one last time. And I am eternally grateful for that. While that's not a happy moment, while nothing that's happened through this pandemic has been happy, I have found the moments to be grateful for. And while these tears look like they're sad tears, they are happy tears. I am grateful that I got to say goodbye, that I was here for that. It is so utterly important to find those gratitude moments. Now, to find those 40 ways that you can practice gratitude every day, keep a gratitude journal and add to it every day. We've said in that first video, things you can do tonight. Go to bed tonight, write on a piece of paper. Some people have a gratitude jar. They take one little piece of paper and they add to it every day. On New Year's, they read everything that they were thankful for over the course of the year, and they start a whole new jar the next year. Tell someone you love them and how much you appreciate them. It's so important, especially now, because you never know how many days you have left to say to someone that you love them. Notice the beauty in nature every day. I love this slide. I love nature. I love the trees reflected off at the water. Take a moment and pause and notice that and be thankful for what you have around us. If you were here for the keynote, you heard paradise, and you heard that in an instant, things could be gone from around you. Take a moment and pause and be thankful for those things. Nurture your friendships you have. Good friends don't come along every day. Keep those connections, and not just on social media. Pick up the phone, call them, send them a thank you letter. Keep contact. Smile more often. It's good for you. It makes you feel better. Yeah, it may give you a couple more lines on your face, but then you start to look seasoned, and people know that seasoned people are happy. I got these lines because I've been smiling. I'm happy. Watch inspiring videos that remind you of the good in the world. Include an act of kindness in your life each day. I think everyone, every time you get in line at Starbucks, you hope that the person in front of you is one of those people that buys the drink for the person behind them. Be that person next time. Be that person tomorrow. Avoid negative media and movies with destructive content. It's fun to watch those drama movies, but it can really take a hit on your psyche. It really can start to make you feel differently. Avoid it. Avoid the news as much as you can, especially right now. But if you have to, if you catch it, make sure that you balance it out with something that makes you feel good. Call your mom and dad more often. I'm Italian. I call my mom every day, and if I don't, she guilts me about it. If my brother doesn't call her every day, she guilts me about it. Call your mom and dad every day, or at least more often than you have. Cook meals with love. Think of people you will feed. I didn't really love cooking, but through this pandemic, I have learned to enjoy it more, and I had no idea how appreciative my family would be when they saw what I was doing for them, and that made me feel good. Volunteer for organizations that help others. Right now, it might be a little tricky to actually physically volunteer with the pandemic, but maybe there's something you can do online. Maybe there's donations that you can bring or physically give that's helping that organization. Reach out and try and find ways that you can volunteer. This one's hard. Don't gossip or speak badly about anybody. It's kind of fun to do sometimes. Some people find fun in it. At the water cooler. Oh, did you hear what so-and-so did? Did you see the shoes that Michelle wore the other day? I tried to compliment her about them and she told me they were old and ugly. Don't do it. It's not good for you. It's not good for the people that you're doing it with. And eventually, if it gets back to the person that you're talking about, you've ruined a relationship. Don't do it. Spend quality time with your kids or significant others. And I know right now, a lot of us are spending a lot of time with our kids. I, while working full time, am also teaching the 6th grade and experiencing the 6th grade all over again. I didn't like the 6th grade. It's been very challenging for me, but I have got to spend some incredible time with my 11-year-old, and I am loving every minute of that. Remember to compliment your friends and family when they look good and teach them to say thank you back and not diminish the compliment. Write a card to someone you haven't seen in a while and tell them something nice. I have a friend that I haven't seen in a really long time. We connect mostly on Facebook. She posted that she was getting married. And instead of just, oh, hey, great on Facebook, I wrote her a card and I mailed it to her. And she picked up the phone and called me and said, that meant so much. Your card was so beautiful. Your card was so sweet. We get so used to giving our communication via this that it starts to just feel like normal communication. And I can't really get the benefit from it anymore. When you reach out in a different way, it's really empowering and really helps. Add to your gratitude list daily at least one more thing each day. Don't hesitate. Every day, there's got to be something. I guarantee there is something every day to be grateful for. I'm grateful my roof is getting fixed today. When you think of a negative thought, try to see the positive side of the situation. I couldn't go on my cruise. I didn't go to Maui. But I was here, and I was here for something very, very important to me. Commit to one day a week where you won't complain about anything. If you know me, I'm kind of a negative person sometimes. I feel prepared when I'm thinking of the negative things that may happen. And unfortunately, that can lead to some complaining sometimes. And so commit to 1 day a week. I'm trying Fridays because I'm already happy because it's Friday. It's an easier day to do that on. Try to take note when people do a good job and give recognition when it's due at work. Like we talked about, it's so important to tell your staff and even your boss, thank you. I write a weekly email through this pandemic to our staff, our entire department, about things that they may have missed because we're all working virtually. I've tried every single email to say thank you at the end for something that has happened. And one of the last emails, I said thank you to the director. I'm not sure how many people have thanked her through this pandemic. And she wrote me back afterwards and said, that meant so much. Thank you so much for saying thank you. If you haven't thanked your director through this pandemic, go back and thank them. And if you are a director, thank you. Thank you for everything you've been doing for your department and your staff right now. Reward effort. If someone does something nice for you, do something nice for them. Somebody edits your report for you. Next time, find out if you can edit their report for them. It doesn't have to be a gift of physical, you bought me something, I buy you something back. Find a way that you can reciprocate that gift, that niceness. Niceness, is that a word? Meditate with your gratitude list, giving thanks for all of your good fortune. I'm not a big meditator, but I've tried meditating. My brain starts to go off in couple different places, but I'm trying to train myself now through meditation. If my brain's going to wander to things to be thankful for. Live mindfully, not worrying about the past or the future. Can't change what I did yesterday. I have no control over what's going to happen tomorrow. I can live right now. Right now, I hope that I'm teaching you some things and sharing some things with you that will make you learn a little bit more about gratitude. That's all that I have control over right now. Thank the people who serve in your community, the shopkeeper, the bus driver. This is super important right now. And I've been so proud of the community I live in and the community I work in, because I have seen physical signs of thanking our emergency service workers and thanking people who are going above and beyond right now in our pandemic. It's wonderful, but don't just do it now. Do it 365 days out of the year when we're not in a pandemic. Thank the people and give it a meaningful thankful. Thank you. Say thank you for the little things you loved. Say thank you for the little things your loved ones do for you, things you normally take for granted. My husband hung up his jacket the other day. Normally, he puts it down on the seat by our door, and he hung it up. Thank you. Of course, he thought I was being a little dramatic, and I probably was, but I was so happy that he hung it up. Say thank you. He's now little more inclined to hang it up again next time. Post quotes and images that remind you to be grateful around your house. We post them on social media. Post them around your house. Take a Post-it, put them up on your mirror, put them on your phone, put them on your fridge, put them in the pantry, put them places you go a lot. On my couch, that's where I am a lot right now, and at my fridge. Places that you're going to see them. Call into an elderly neighbor and say thank you for their presence in your life. It's so important to be looking out for our elderly right now. And because we can't physically see them, phone calls, letters are the best way. Call them and just thank you for being there. Call your grandparents and tell them that you love them. If you still have grandparents in your life, you are incredibly fortunate. That time is fleeting. Call them, reach out to them, and thank them. Tell them you love them. Embrace challenges and turn them into opportunities that help you grow. Next time something doesn't go so right at work, embrace it. Figure out what you can do to change it next time, to make it better. I think I went the wrong way, sorry. Almost done. Send love to your enemies or people you dislike. So easy to keep them as enemies. It's a lot harder to, thank you and send them love and give them positive comments and give them positive thought. And even if you don't physically say or do anything, just change the mindset in your head to think something positive about them instead of the negative thoughts. Be thankful when you learn something new. I've learned how to make sound play in my PowerPoint for this presentation. Didn't know how to do that until like 3 days ago. I'm super thankful for that. See the growth opportunity in your mistakes. What did I do wrong? How do I grow? How do I learn from that? Help your friends see the positive side to life. If you have a friend like me, I need you. You need me. We need to help each other so that you can help me see the positive side to life, for sure. When times are bad, focus on your friends who are at your side. I think probably right now in the last 8 months, we have found those friends. But maybe there's some out there who haven't connected with you. Maybe those are the ones that are most needing support and help right now. Reach out to them. See who's there and help them. When time is good, notice and help others. Everything's going great for me right now. I got an opportunity to go help somebody. I'm going to go help them. What can I do? Make a gratitude collage. If you are a crafter, you are probably really, really good at this. Cut out pictures of all the things that you're grateful for. Hang it up. Bring it to work. Put one in your bedroom. Put it in your bathroom. Put little pieces of it in your car. Wherever you like to put your craft items. Absolutely. Make gratitude a part of family life. Share it with others during a meeting or during a meal. Probably next week at Thanksgiving, if you are able to sit with someone in your immediate family or virtually as you are experiencing Thanksgiving, that's usually a time that we are experiencing our gratitude and saying thank you. But don't just make it at Thanksgiving. Make it a regular occurrence. Focus on your strengths. Anything that you're doing good, anything that's going well for you, focus on that. Let go of worrying about something that you're weak at. Share the benefits of gratitude with your family and friends. I was talking to my husband all about this presentation. I shared with him all the benefits. Share it with your family. And share gratitude. I've already kind of said this. Share gratitude by posting about it on social media. Be the change you want to see in the world by making gratitude a part of each day. If we all practice gratitude more regularly, the world will be a better place. On that note, I've got this super cute video. Here we go.
So let's be real. Some days are hard. So I made this list of awesome things I'm thankful for. Yeah. Sometimes I need reminding that things are not all that bad. So I wanted to share a few because you guys are my friends. It's great to be alive. And here's some reminders why. First one, bubble wrap. When cats do their tongue, like this. I'm also thankful for the little paw pads like the cats and dogs have and the sound it makes. Oh, man. I love them. Hey, turn that back on. Oh, no. Change it. Ah, there, that's better. Music is magical. It can make anything better. Right music can make a video better. The same goes with life. Singing. I like paw pats. Singing. If something's boring, just sing it, and that will make it better. Watching paint dry. It's really cool. Old people who still hold hands. Clouds that look like stuff. One time I saw a cloud that looked like an airplane, and I realized it was an airplane. Imagination. Without it, we wouldn't have airplanes, no internet, pants. We gotta wear them, because if we didn't, it would be sort of awkward. Pants. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Sleep. Clothes with funny names, like Windbreaker. Birthday cake. No reason at all cake, just cake. Sorry, we filmed this while I was hungry. Forgiveness! I'm Kid President, but I ain't perfect. Ain't a word. We all mess up, come on. Don't mess up and forget to forgive all the mess ups. Thankful plants undergo photosynthesis, using the energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide to oxygen, providing us with the air we need to do things like this. I'm bored. Morgan Freeman's voice. Hello, I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm working on it. My voice is changing, but it hasn't changed that much. Food, taco, burger. I know, I already said food, but this is my list and my rules. Happiness. Sadness. Sad isn't bad. It helps you know what you care about. People. Sometimes people can be really people-y, but we need each other. Life's better with people in it. Family, friends, you, just being alive. Sometimes we forget how it's just great to be alive. We're breathing. Some days are tough, but we got a lot to be thankful for. We just have to look for it sometimes. They say if you have food in your fridge, clothes on your back, and a place to sleep, you're richer than 75% of the world. I did not know that. So what would you add to the list? Let me know. Share this video with someone you're really thankful for. Oh, and of course, also this. Dancing! Brad and I are thankful for all of you. Seriously, thanks for giving us and the whole world a reason to dance. So what are you thankful for? Let me know. KP out. Keep going.
All right. On that note, I think it's exactly 45 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for getting up today. Thank you for coming to the CARE conference. And thank you for just being you. I don't know if there's any questions. I don't know if you want to share anything that you guys are grateful for or thankful for. If you just are thankful that it's over and you want to move on back to your work, I am totally okay with that as well. But I'm happy to answer any questions you may have if you have some.
Michelle, thank you so much for your presentation. Really appreciate the information and just want to say thank you to you for putting this together and reminding us how important gratitude is. I do have one story to share and happy to open up for questions to the group and help you facilitate them. But I did want to let everyone know to take the 2 surveys that are there in the chat before you exit the room. There's a general survey for feedback from Michelle and then a survey as well if you're looking to receive CEUs. I did want to share, and I just appreciate your sharing about gratitude. There was a time with another agency where I was just having an off day and nothing I could do for myself internally was helping out, but a coworker wasn't feeling too well. And he's like, yeah. And I said, do you have tea? He's like, yeah, I do. I just need to go make it. I said, can I make the tea for you? He's like, really? And I said, yes, I said, I'm having an off day. Making tea for you will help me feel better knowing that I'm doing something to give to you. And it did. And it's been something that's stuck with me of if you're having an off day, to be able to serve someone else or to thank someone else. So I just wanted to share that experience. So thank you very much.
I'm muted. Thank you, Tam. Again, I don't know if anyone else has any stories that they'd like to share, something they're grateful for. You absolutely can take this opportunity. Otherwise, I thank you all again for being here. Really appreciate it. I was trying to get the links up, but I think it's probably easiest if I just send it all to Tam and she gets it distributed through the Google Drive. So
Jonathan was actually able to share the link for the video as well. So thanks, Jonathan.
thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you. And I'll share something really quick. We had a city manager that loved to give flowers and would give flowers to everyone. And I would receive the flowers and you'd think, oh, maybe he doesn't like flowers. But one of the greatest gifts of receiving the flowers was it was something I could also pay forward. I could bring it home to my family or to my wife if you don't like flowers. And that feeling that you get paying that forward was just great and a great practice. So I was very thankful for that. And thank you for all the sharing today.
Great year.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you any longer, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you again so much. Please go out and try and practice some form of gratitude today. And if nothing else, right before you put your head on that pillow, think of something you were thankful for. Thank you guys so much. Have a fabulous day.
Thanks, Michelle.